Hi guys, Chantal here from Nerdy Mama. Today we're going to make this Instant Pot pad to keep our Instant Pots from getting set on fire. Let's do this. Really quick, for anybody who really cares to know, the whole point of doing this is to give you a place that you can actually set this Instant Pot, or any Instant Pot for that matter, on the stove, and this will actually protect the Instant Pot from catching the components underneath on fire if you were to accidentally turn on the burner. I've seen this a lot from people who have recently purchased an Instant Pot or got one for Christmas, for example. And this is just a really quick tool, very small, compact, put it away, no big deal. There's other alternatives that go across the whole stovetop, and I might make one of those real soon, but for right now, this is what I wanted because I didn't want anything big and bulky taking up room in my kitchen, because I do occasionally still use my stove. So this slide right in with your cutting boards, or just stay right underneath your Instant Pot wherever it is that you store it. So I started by just grabbing a piece of scrap wood I had laying around that was pretty wide, that when I cut would be at least 11 inches wide, which was kind of the diameter of my Instant Pot. And then I took the two pieces over to the table saw and I just trimmed up their edges, because when you buy wood at your local home improvement store, sometimes the corners are a little rounded over, and that's what it was the case with my wood, and I just wanted it to be nice and flat, so I just trimmed off the edges. After they were all trimmed, I went ahead and glued them together. It doesn't really matter how much wood glue you use, I used a lot. And then I clamped them in two places. Because it's so small, really 2 clamps worked just fine, but I didn't want them to bow up in the middle, so I put these 2 pieces of wood across them, and then I added clamps to hold those in place. After the glue was dry, I found my center point, just from measuring, and I knew this was roughly a square. It's obviously not perfectly square, but didn't really matter. And then I tried to just use my ruler with the pencil, but the wood grain kept grabbing the actual pencil and dragging it everywhere. So what I ended up doing was actually poking a hole in my little metal ruler just where I wanted the pencil to sit. So that way it would have a little bit more support on either side while I dragged it around. And that ended up working really, really well. And I just drilled a little hole and then made a little wider with a screw, and it was really not a big deal. Don't tell my husband I did this though, because it's his metal ruler, and I don't think he's noticed, even though it's been a couple of months. With the line in place, I went ahead and started cutting with my jigsaw. I stayed at least 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch outside of the line, because I knew that I was not going to be able to cut a nice pretty line with a jigsaw. It's just this thick of a material, really not possible. And I knew I could clean it up on the drum sander, not the drum sander, don't have one of those, it's a belt sander. Like I said, gonna clean up that line right at the belt sander. That's not even a belt sander. What is disc sander? I can't get this right today. So I just went right up to the line with the disc sander to make sure that it was a nice, perfect little round circle.
once I had it round, it was time to sand. I went ahead and sanded everything with from a 80 grit all the way up to a 200, just not for any particular reason, but because. And then I went ahead on the edge, the top edge, and just kind of rounded over a little bit, just to break that hardcore corner. And then I did a little hand sanding, just to make sure I got everything perfectly smooth. And then my little hole where I had used the screw to make the circle, I filled that with some wood filler and a little bit of sawdust, and then it was gone and you could never see it after I sanded it. So, woohoo! Then I used this fantastic stain that really I would not have personally picked, but we've got a windowsill in my kitchen that is about the same cognac color. So I just sanded it. I didn't even bother to seal it because frankly, at the end of the day, this is just going underneath my Instant Pot. It doesn't have to look fabulous. It's not some piece of art. It's just a hot pad.
So you guys, what do you think? I mean, that was super easy, right? I mean, don't tell my husband that I poked a hole in his ruler, but at the end of the day, you know what? It's a 99-cent ruler, and that's okay. And nothing else was really all that expensive either. The wood was scraps that I found laying around. It doesn't even have to be this thick. Could certainly be a whole lot less thick. But at the end of the day, this just keeps your components from your Instant Pot being ruined in the event that you accidentally turn on your burner if you want to put your Instant Pot on the stove. I'd show you that in progress, but my stove is dirty and I didn't want to show that to the whole wide world, so there we go. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys would do me a huge favor, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the like and the little bell, because the little bell will actually let you know when the next video drops, which is weekly. So we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. And be sure to hit the, not the thumbs down button. That's a terrible idea. Today we're gonna make this Hi,